Welcome to AVNewsCast.com and NewsTalk 1380.
Good morning.
You can smell that storm coming, can't you?
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's good out there.
I hope it's as good as they've alluded.
We sure need it.
I don't
Just
like the rain.
Why not?
I don't have a microphone either.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there I go. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the rain.
He doesn't like much of anything.
No, he doesn't.
That's not
He
true.
doesn't like any change whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't do well with change.
None.
You
None
and
at all.
Frank.
Jeez.
None at all. So yesterday, Mayor Jim Ledford and Mayor R.X. Paris got together
In the same room?
at the courthouse steps
Nice.
to show their support for Assistant Sheriff James Hellman,
Oh.
who is running for Lee Baca's job. They both got together,
Wow.
shook hands to show their support and unity for one candidate.
I get you.
So
see
apparently this guy's going
Like
to do
this.
right by the ballot.
Now here's a little rundown about Assistant Sheriff James Hellman.
that. Yeah, here we go.
Go ahead. Entered the department in 1988
Okay.
as a deputy.
Okay.
In 2000, he was promoted to sergeant.
Okay.
In 2005, he was promoted to lieutenant.
But what's his file look like? Nothing's in there? Like no problems, no issues, no offense?
At 11 o'clock this morning, they're going to let me in and I can look at his file. What do you mean, what's his file look like?
Shouldn't we know what his
What?
file looks like?
You're not... Okay.
No,
There's a lot of secrecy that goes on with cops and their information and everything. You can't get anywhere near any of that stuff. You can't find out
there
any
could
kind
be
of
all
disciplinary
kinds of stuff in
history.
there. That's what I'm saying.
Before
Like,
the
shouldn't
end
we
of the
know?
show, they're going to come repossess that little sticker. Okay?
Unbelievable.
You'll see. Okay, so moving on.
Well, no, finish telling me about him.
I am.
Okay.
I am. So in 2005, he was promoted to lieutenant, where he also served as watch commander at the Compton station. In 2007, he was promoted to captain, and in 2011, he was promoted to commander, and worked on jail reforms through Los Angeles County.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Then why is he running?
Because you're saying he was associated with the jail.
Well, he worked on the reform. It didn't reform very well.
They're still working on those reforms.
When did he start?
He started right about the time that everything blew up with the DOJ investigation.
Now,
so
what-
he came in after all of this was discovered.
Okay.
Okay? I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking that he had some involvement with
No.
something.
You know what I was thinking is law enforcement is your Obama. Again, I was just thinking that again. But no, I think that's great. If he came in right at the end of that, or what I would have loved for you to say, because I would have been all on it, is he was part of the whistleblowing team that, illuminated what the big issues were. But whatever, if he came in to reform the prison and make sure that everybody is doing their job and not doing underhanded little side deals and abusing people and blah, 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 then I'm all for it.
Okay, well,
But
we're
I
going to reach out.
I just think that it's important to know, if you've got any issues. When you were the desk commander in Compton, how well did you do that job? And I think it's a valid question. You want to know?
I do too. I do too. And so, you know what? Because you said that, we're going to reach out and we are going to get Assistant Sheriff James Hellman on the show.
Okay.
So we can ask him directly.
I don't want him to see me come up in here or nothing, but I just
Oh, you want him only to call in?
I just want to talk to the man on the phone.
Okay. We'll get him on
I
the
don't want
show.
him to see my blonde locks or anything.
Okay, right. We'll get him on the show and you can ask him. Okay? A lot of people are saying that the guy in Long Beach, Jim McDonald, is a lot of people are saying, hey, I like him because he wasn't involved in anything.
Yeah, but he might
Okay.
have his own set of issues.
Correct.
I just say open up the books.
Okay, now-
Open up the employee files.
Now, the good thing about
Transparency.
Yes.
Jim Hellman is that he does understand the L.A. County Sheriff's Department, and he also understands the needs that the Antelope Valley has.
Well, I don't
And
Yeah,
think
both
that's
of them got
hard to
behind them.
understand that, though. I don't see why that's a hard
Because we're on the
thing to
fringe.
understand.
You know, we sometimes get forgotten.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is it's your job. It's part of your responsibility to service whatever, whatever's in your jurisdiction. So for anyone to say, well, we don't like him because he may not pay attention to us, you're saying right then it's just acceptable for somebody to take a job that doesn't do their job, and that to me is like, what are you saying? I just don't get it.
Well, because
This
people
is law
were worried.
enforcement. This is a huge deal.
Right. But, as an example, okay? As an example, L.A. County gets X amount of dollars to use as resources for their homeless population, okay? The Antelope Valley has a huge homeless population. Huge. But the Antelope Valley only receives an infinitesimal amount
Now, who's
of
responsible
money
for
from
that?
L.A. County. Hear me out. From L.A. County, when we should be receiving much more. So I'm just saying, this Assistant Sheriff, Hellman, he is saying, I'm going to make sure that the Antelope Valley gets the resources that they deserve.
Right.
Okay.
And what I would like to know is who's responsible on not making sure that we get what we're supposed to get for the homeless. Are they going to say Antelope Valley has not petitioned for the proper amount of funds?
Oh, no, we have. Both mayors have.
So then who's supposed to cut the
You
check?
got to go to the
Like,
Board of
why is this
Supervisors,
hard?
and the one that's it covers Skid Row, that's the one who screams the loudest, and that's who gets the dough because they're more visible there.
It's just amazing.
Okay, so, all right. So that's the thing. We'll reach out and we'll see if we can get them on the show.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, if you put it on a map and you say you get X amount of dollars per percentage, you get X amount of money per head of homeless person, it should be very easy. You cut the check. Like, why is it anything outside of that?
Why do you go trying to apply common sense to a government organization that gets shocked when it doesn't stick?
I don't know.
I mean, that's
I don't know. But I'm looking at you like, what? I just don't get it. Like, who?
I'd be shocked if it did work.
After the break, we are going to have
Yes.
DCFS Director Philip Browning back on the show.
Yeah.
We'll get an update from him on what's been going on over there in DCFS, and we'll tell him about Robert Fernandez being on the show.
Yes.
And get some comments. Okay, and we're going to bring him on by phone in just a second. And I do want to mention, Paul Tanaka put out a press release. He's also running for LA County Sheriff.
He sounds like he should just be singing.
And he's the mayor of Gardena, right?
At the go.
Okay. Anyway, he put out a press release
Why would I know that he's the mayor of Gardena?
because you do a news show that's very popular, and
You're up to date on everything. You got your
I
finger
could
on the
go
pulse.
on. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway.
okay. Well, all I got to do is ask you, how old is she? Oh, I don't know that one. I knew you were going to do that, Angelina.
He did issue a press release stating that, recently with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals saying a statement on carrying a concealed weapon, that he will, if he's elected sheriff, he is behind the Second Amendment and everybody's right to bear arms.
Tanaka.
And he will do what he can to
That
make certain that every single application
is looked at.
is looked at and evaluated, and if that person is worthy of getting one,
We're gonna get a sign.
he's going to do it.
I want a lawn sign.
No.
Let's take a quick
I'm
break
good
because
with
we've
that
got
as well.
Director
we got
Browning
the
on the
direct
phone.
list. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
cool.
so let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. You're listening to AV Newscast on NewsTalk Radio 1380.
If you're thinking about getting your backyard in shape for entertaining, there's only one place to shop, and that's Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. At Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale, you'll save up to 70% off retail every day at our factory warehouse showroom. Abadak has everything you need to get your backyard in shape, like 7.5-foot tall, 41,000 BTU, freestanding LPG patio heaters for just $159.99. How about a fully enclosed backyard gazebo? Fire up that barbecue and enjoy a nice meal inside one of our Mandalay, Trinidad, or Mykonos freestanding gazebos. Just $219.97 every day. If you want wholesale prices, come to Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. How about backyard shade or car canopies? You can pick a variety of color choices starting at just $129.97. Stop by Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. We're located at 38940 Trade Center Drive, 1 block east of 10th Street West. The Abadak Factory Showroom is open from 8 to 4 every day. That's Abadak Outdoors at 38940 Trade Center Drive in Palmdale, where you'll save up to 70% 70% off retail every day. Check us out on the web at abadak.com or give us a call at 661-480-1562.
There's a school in Palmdale that's become the talk of the town. It's called the Guidance Charter School, and many parents say it's magical. The Guidance Charter School is WAS certified, scored 783 in academic performance, and has an educational curriculum that exceeds what the state of California recommends. The curriculum is enriched through age-appropriate exposure for information technology, arts, foreign language such as Arabic, and physical education. The Guidance Charter School is now going to have a full CIF sports program with soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, and more. They're an open enrollment school, publicly funded, and have been in business for 12 years, fully approved by Palmdale School District. The Guidance Charter School has small class sizes such as 20 students in grades K through 3, 25 in 4 through 8, and just 30 students in grades 9 through 12. Call the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale today at 661-272-1701. That's the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale, 661-272-1701. And check out their website at thegcs.org. A better high school choice.
And welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380, and we're going to be speaking to somebody I'm not ashamed to say is one of my favorite people in a government organization.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we've had him on hold, and I feel bad about that, so let's bring him on. Director Browning, are you with us?
I'm here, Philip Browning here.
How
Hi,
are you?
Director Browning. This is Steve, and I'm with Jeff and Angelina, my co-hosts.
Okay.
You're one of my favorite people. I've seen people go into higher positions and say they're going to make sweeping changes and stuff. I have direct evidence that this man is doing what he said he was going to do.
Well, you've got a cheerleader over here.
All right.
Yes.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Right after, within days of the last time that we spoke, I get this call from a social worker who says, "What did you do?" When we spoke last time, I talked about a wonderful social worker who did everything right, and sure enough, Director Browning said he was going to get a hold of her and find out what she was doing that was right, and he did it.
Well,
He followed right up on his word, and she had to help work with the training program.
That's nice.
To get them to do it right. I am so pleased.
well,
That's nice.
Director Browning, let me ask you. Since the last time you were on the show, you talked about a lot of changes that you wanted to make within the agency. Update us a little bit on that progress.
Okay. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you for letting us know when workers are doing good things and if not, because so seldom do we say thank you enough. That's such an easy thing to do, but as administrators and directors and managers, we don't do that nearly enough, and that's something that I really appreciate you helping us out on that.
Oh, thank you.
I think we're making a lot of progress, particularly in hiring. As you know, we've been understaffed for a long period, and so we're in the process of hiring 450 new social workers. But the most important thing is that we're putting them through a new 52-week training program, which is a first-class, and I think only in the nation, activity that the schools of social work have banded together. They've changed their training program totally. So now the universities like USC, UCLA, Long Beach, they've come together and they actually have on their campuses houses built. Our brand new workers can go in and simulate being in an individual's home. They can knock on a real door, not know who's on the other side, try to gain entry, and go through a whole series of situations that they will be faced with, but they're practicing that in a safe environment.
It sounds like SEAL team training.
Well, it is similar to that. You know, we've used the model that has been used so frequently in the military and law enforcement, where they practice and practice before they get out into the field.
And that's it. That's what makes the elite troops so good, is because they spend nothing but time practicing over and over and over again.
And also, we've partnered with law enforcement. So not only do we have social workers, but we have law enforcement who are helping us do these trainings, which are going on simultaneously. And a good example, I was at one of the simulations a week or two ago where one of the staff was playing a mother who had a child that had a broken arm at a very young age, and our workers in law enforcement were trying to determine what had really gone on. And the worker got out of her role as a distraught mother and put on her lawyer hat because she was a lawyer. And I'm getting out of my getting out of my mother role, and I want to tell you what legally we should be doing. And so I think that's something we haven't had in the past. So I'm confident that new workers will be much more prepared for the challenges that they will face when they get through with this training.
And that teaming up with the law enforcement was one thing that I couldn't understand before, how, a call-in would be tied to a location and not to an individual, and the sheriffs would have some information and the social workers would have other information, but nobody had the complete picture.
Has that bridge been gapped?
We're certainly working on that.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
We have an automated system that is critical, but even more important, within the last month, we've gotten the major players from law enforcement, which are the major law enforcement agencies, together with our staff to talk about how we can work better. And I personally met with LAPD, and I've met in the past with the Sheriff's Department to say, how can we do a better job? And so we've decided we're going to be training more together and talking more. And they've actually developed a new protocol for how to refer cases to us when they find out something's going on in a family's home.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're making progress, particularly with law enforcement. Of course, we've been working closely with the departments of mental health to actually make sure we share information. We're a few jurisdictions in the country that have an automated way to share information when one of our foster children is getting a mental health service. Of course, one of our biggest challenges continues to be foster homes and places where we can put children who can't safely stay in their own home, and we're actively recruiting foster parents.
Angelina?
Yeah, I just recently went through orientation to become a foster parent, and that was eye-opening and an experience in and of itself, I must say.
So 2 out of the 3 hosts will be foster parents in this room.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We couldn't ask for a better PR campaign than the 3 of you. So, Angelina, are there things that we could do differently, the things that we need to improve?
Yeah, I do think, I mean, personally, I think that the two women that did the orientation, one was Lady King and the other one, Diane Mendoza, they were both extremely well educated, and the orientation went really smoothly. I just feel, from a managerial standpoint, that it probably could be a little bit more streamlined. I would love to help you if you want me to. And the only criticism, and I feel kind of badly about saying it because I don't know enough about the agency to really give a critique, but since you asked, the only thing that I would say is that they're both social workers, and I feel like they need to be out there doing the job that needs to get done. And maybe you should have a training crew that are not necessarily social workers, but are very well versed on the law and the procedures and how it needs to get done, doing that part.
Well, and I do think that you have some good points there. And I think one of the things that you've identified is that we've put a real high priority on getting foster parents into the system. And we need to do a better job of supporting the foster parents. So in the new budget that's coming up for the county, we've asked for additional resources so we can support foster parents who go through the training, and we're hopeful that we're going to have some online training that can be made available. Nice. I know for someone like you who has a job, it's difficult to get off and meet our schedules. So we're looking at how we can make the foster parent training more interactive, and so some of it, for somebody like you could do probably some of that online, and then when you get to the actual classes, you would be a little more knowledgeable.
Yeah, we found some of our D-rate training online, and that was a godsend, not having to peel off days from work to go do it. We're able to sit at night and do the D-rate training at home. That was wonderful.
That is good.
And I know there are probably listeners who have questions about whether they could be a foster parent. I think you're great examples of how individuals can step up. And really, it takes a community. There's no one department like DCFS that can do it all. It takes individuals, the faith-based enterprises, the community partners, and just individuals like you and me to step up.
You're absolutely right, because one of the things that I learned when I went to the orientation that I didn't know is that there is a group of children that are between the ages of 18 and 20 that are not able to live independently, that just really need some sponsoring. That people that have these guest rooms can easily open them up.
Yep.
You know, these are kids that they know that they want to do something other than whatever they experienced in their past. And they're on the right road. They're in college. All they need is somebody in the community that can say, you know what, I have an extra room and I have some wisdom for you.
But I think, Angelina, that's a great point, that the department and the state is now responsible for those youth between 18 and 21. In the past, once you got 18, we didn't have a role, but now we actually do. And so we've had thousands of youth say, we want to have some stability, and so they're staying in the care and custody of the department. But you're exactly right. We need those independent living situations, and the department can pay the actual youth an amount of money which that youth can pay to the homeowner to have a place where they can start being more independent.
Yeah.
I just want to say on a selfish level, and for, to be a cheerleader for foster parents, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. This is the first thing I've ever done that I feel adds significance to my life.
Well, that's an amazing.
That I have done something to help my
I'm
world
looking
around
forward
me.
to it. I'm a little afraid, because it's going to break my heart to see the abuse that, but
But you've got us to
Gabriel
follow. You've got us, and you've got
yeah.
some great social workers out there.
Yeah.
But we are friends.
Yeah.
Well,
You've got us.
And nationally, the best recruiters for foster parents are people who are caregivers who can talk to their next door neighbor or their church member and say, I can do this, you can too. And so the department is certainly a supporter, and we have social workers and administrators who can help foster parents. But actually, foster parents are the best recruiting tool that we have. So I really do appreciate the three of you being open and honest and willing to assist.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, how long is the process? How long does it take actually to get through the orientation and to get to an approved home and able to accept children?
Well, it takes too long, I'll just tell you that. And we're working with the state to refine that process. We have an agreement with the state because the state does part of it, and then our department does the other part. So we've agreed that we're going to try to reduce the time frame. It takes from the time you make a call to the 1-888-811-1121, it'll probably take 6 months because there's a screening process, of course, as you know. We have to make sure that the foster parents have no criminal background, or if there is one, that it's so minimal that it wouldn't impact. And we have to look at the home. And so there's an application process. And then there's a training process that you described where we go through some of the expectations that the child has or the youth has of the foster parent, but more importantly of the foster parent, to prepare the foster parent to take in a child who may have been abused and to assist them. And so foster parents are helping young children learn how to read, how to maintain a good school record, how to do just the basic things.
Yes.
And just maybe for the first time in their life, give them some love.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping, is that we'll have loving individuals such as yourselves who will be willing to take a child into their home and make that child a better person.
I can't imagine loving anything that my wife produced more than I love these two children. I am just so madly head over heels nuts in love with them. And Steve and Angie will tell you, they've seen it. I just glow when I think about them.
Steve, we need to get you into a commercial because I think you might be a great spokesman.
I am more than happy to.
Okay. We have days from time to time, but I think you have a unique experience from
It sure does.
that we really ought to highlight.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help.
Director, this is Steve. I don't want to hold you any longer, but I do want to ask you another question. In the wake of what happened with Gabriel Fernandez, was there more attention drawn to the agency that increased the amount of foster parents now stepping forward that want to make a difference?
Well, I think there was certainly a lot of media attention, and that was such a tragic event that it brought home, I think, to many individuals the need for more placement options. And I think I've mentioned before that 5 or 6 years ago we had about 18,000 placement options. Today we have half that many. So not only have foster parents contacted us because of their interest, we've been increasing our recruiting efforts to reach out to the community, to the faith-based community. I met with a group of 40 or 50 ministers the other day and said if just each one of your churches, temples, synagogues would find one foster parent, that would help us so much. Getting the word out is critical, and I think discussions like this might spark an interest in somebody listening that might not have ever thought about it before. We have a website people can go to, and we have experienced people who can tell them what's going on, but probably no one is more experienced than the three of you who are actually doing this now.
Well, you've got 25 or 30,000 people listening to you now. Your agency should put something on our show. You know, yeah, Jeff and Angelina are real proponents of the agency and foster care. You should have something on our show, you know, as a promotional piece.
Absolutely. There's so much that people don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and we need to follow up on that. You know, that's a great idea, and we need to work together to see how we can do that. And so I'll get one of our staff to follow up with you.
Please.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, and I like the fact that you make yourself accessible to us and all the listeners.
And thank you for the great work you've done.
Absolutely.
Well,
and you know what? If you see my application, go ahead and bump it a little bit.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout for you. Thanks.
Thanks again.
Take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's take a quick break. You're listening to AV Newscast, the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley, and we'll be right back.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 800-98-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Take delivery in spring. Call 800-98-STEEL. That's 800-987-8335.
Wow, yeah, since the storm, it's been crazy busy for us. We got all kinds of office desks coming in. Now here's a fancy one right here. It's missing a leg, but that's all right. Whatever. Washers and dryers from a laundromat. Oh, wow, and check this out. Another deep fryer. And I'm not sure what this doohickey is. Yeah, most businesses weren't ready for a storm like that, you know. But our work's really piling up here at Roberts & Sons Salvage.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency. And 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380, where the conspiracies fly.
Yeah.
Last night on Facebook, someone posted it. In fact, Bob Alvis actually posted a link to law360.com. which talked about a lawsuit that was filed against Assemblyman Steve Fox by a former employee.
Oh, no. For what?
Okay. Well, here's what the employee alleges. The employee basically alleges that she was forced to work 50 hours a week, and she wasn't paid for all of her time, and she was forced to do double duty, doing all kinds of stuff.
What?
So she basically is alleging that she's due to get money for work that she performed that she was never paid for. Okay?
Okay. I have issue.
You know, it's she was a salary employee.
So then what is she talking about?
And-
You're a salary employee.
And, well, she alleges a lot of things in her complaint. I haven't seen the complaint.
Salary
I did-
employee can work 7 days a week.
Understood. I think she claimed that she was exempt from that.
She's not exempt. How
Okay.
are you exempt? She's worked in California, right?
She worked in California. Here's
Well, obviously there's something else to it because she's got a
Okay.
claim, right?
there is a lot to it. Her attorney, Law 360, her attorney put out a blurb. Okay, as of last night, Assemblyman Steve Fox hadn't even been served with the complaint yet.
That's
But
just an opportunity.
her
That's
attorney-
just so sad.
You know, threw this out, and don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily going to the defense of Assemblyman Steve Fox,
I am.
because I don't know all the facts, but here's what I do know. I spoke to somebody close to the situation who's not authorized to speak on the situation.
On the record.
Right.
Okay? You know, there are two sides to every story,
Yes, there is.
and then there's a middle somewhere.
Then there's the
Okay.
truth. Two sides and then the truth.
Yep.
Why the two sides didn't come together, I don't know right now.
Well, do you know how long she worked for him?
She was working for Steve Fox before he became an assemblyman. Okay? And one thing I do know is that when he was elected to office, he said, you know what, I'm going to close my office.
Right. I remember that.
But I really care for my staff.
Right. And
I don't want to let
remember
anybody
that.
go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hire you all.
Well, no, I heard as much as he could. I
Okay.
didn't hear all.
Okay. I'm going to hire some of you to come work for me. Okay?
Right.
In my office for state assembly.
Which is
Nice.
amazing.
Because I don't want to put you out on the street.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it works because
She
it's
is one
still
of those
law.
employees that she, you know, she was a carryover. Okay? Which I think, you know, was pretty nice.
It was.
Okay? Because you didn't have to do that.
But you know what the thing is? Listen, if you're a salary employee, from what I understand, I am GM. It's exempt. You can work 7 days a week, and you're not
Some do.
subject to overtime. You know, you're not subject to overtime pay. What you are subject to is you got to know who you're accepting that salary position from, and whether or not they're going to abuse you. Because you shouldn't be working 7 days a week. That's abuse, in my humble opinion. And I don't care if it's 2 hours on Saturday and Sunday. You should have 2 days off to recharge, to be able to be at your best
Yeah.
when you go to work.
do your best when you're...
You can't do your best if you're
You're a zombie.
always, you know, some level of, you know, it's not your company. You're supporting someone else. So you need to recharge your batteries.
That's one thing 7 days a week when you're working your own company.
Exactly.
Building yourself.
She claims that before he was elected, she was a paralegal, but she was also doing campaign work for him. And you know, one of the statements that her attorney made at Law 360 was, and I quote, "Rather than hire campaign workers or solicit volunteers from the community, Fox was propelled and elected into office thanks to the unpaid work performed by Mrs. Zahn." Okay? So she is single-handedly responsible.
Wow.
So it sounds
For
like
getting
some
him into
sour
office.
grapes.
Okay?
It just does. I mean, I don't know enough. I guess I shouldn't be saying that, but it just, you know, we do have choices to continue employment, you know, and I think some of that you do have to take responsibility for.
I did go to the Superior
Right?
Court, and
Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Steve?
no, you're right. There was a complaint filed on February 21st. Interesting that the attorney Benjamin Davidson. There are multiple defendants: Steve Fox, Steve Gregory Fox, the law office of Steve Fox attorney at law. I mean, he sued everybody. And then Christina Zahn is the plaintiff. A little bit about her attorney.
Here we go.
Okay, a little bit about her attorney.
Now we get into it.
I like his WordPress website. That's nice.
WordPress.
Yeah, as
It's
he
nice.
blows him
Okay.
out with the WordPress.
His name is Benjamin Davidson. Born and raised in L.A. Graduated from UCLA with a BA in sociology. After graduation, he became a video editor.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
all right.
Worked at Fox Sports and Fox
Wow.
NFL Live for a while.
Got around.
Traveled overseas, came back, decided to get a law degree, and went to Cornell.
Good for him.
After
Pretty
that,
smart guy, apparently.
yeah. After that, he decided to put on a white hat, and he worked for a couple of law firms representing employers in employment-related lawsuits.
Okay.
No, you're
Then he
at it.
decided to put on a white
Exactly.
hat and represent the employees.
Right. Now that he got that down.
He has it's a solo practice, one-man shop, not a whole team of attorneys. They're based on Wilshire Boulevard in L.A., in West L.A.
Hello.
Okay, you know what?
Uh-oh, something you don't want to say? Let me see. Pass it around. What is this?
Okay,
His best friend is? What is it?
you know what? I think when an
Right?
attorney throws out, throws something, when you haven't even served the defendant, and you throw stuff out there because he's a public official,
Yeah, well, obviously.
and you try to start a smear campaign.
Yeah.
And I looked at what was up at Law 360, which I know is not word for word that's in the complaint. That kind of cheapens the argument for me. Okay, that turns it into kind of an ambulance chasing kind of a thing. I don't like. I think it's wrong. File a lawsuit, serve the defendant, and then deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, they have to do it strategically.
Taint the court of public opinion
course.
prior to...
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to cost you your position. I mean, that's the whole purpose of taking it.
Right.
That, how did she get introduced to this attorney?
Who knows? I don't know. And
Now
we
her
can reach
people need
out.
attorneys. Yeah.
We can reach out to her and see if
She's not
or
gonna
we'll
talk
reach
to
out to
us.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to him. I can talk to
and,
anything.
and try to get him on the show. I did reach out to the Fox office, and I am talking to people there, and we'll see if we can get Steve Fox on the show toward the latter part of the week. But again, if he hasn't even seen the complaint, I really don't even want him on the show yet.
Yeah, what's the point of that?
Okay.
Well, he's not going to be able to speak about it.
Because there is no point to it. But
That sounds silly, honestly.
well, you know what? She feels that she's owed money.
How
And-
are you owed money if you're a salaried employee? Was she not salaried at some point?
She has put forth all kinds of allegations.
And
And-
who punches in the clock and then at the end you get your check and it's short hours and say, all right, it's all right. I'll get you in a couple years? Like, who does that?
If you're salary, do you even punch a clock?
No, what I'm
No.
saying is when she wasn't salary, maybe she was hourly, and maybe now her allegation is, I worked for the attorney as a paralegal, and now he's got me doing campaign stuff, and trying to work it in another way that she was doing stuff that she wasn't supposed to do, where. Oh, it wasn't part of my job description. I had my job description that was given to me in 1942, and you know what I mean, like just all this stuff. It's just, when you get paid at the end of your pay period, and your hours are not right, you're a big old grown person. Knock on HR's door and say, "Hey, my hours is wrong.
Yeah, this doesn't calculate.
This is not right. Help me."
Yeah.
And then when you go back and you come back to work the next day, you're kind of saying there's a level of agreements there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Last night that Steve Fox issued the following statement saying that he hasn't seen the complaint. He hasn't been served with the complaint. From what he's heard about the allegations, they are defamatory and untrue. There's no merit to the claims. But again, he hasn't even seen anything. Okay, but her attorney, Benjamin Davidson, saw fit to throw a bunch of crap out there right now and start, going at it that way. And to me, a class act attorney doesn't act that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
This sounds like House of Cards.
Okay, that's what I think.
Go find the old employees and see how well they liked him.
Yeah, dig them up.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. You're listening to AV Newscast on NewsTalk Radio 1380, and we'll be right back.
Hi, folks. I'm Chuck Simons, a realtor with Keller Williams. Are you finding yourself buried in your house payment, completely stressed out and don't know what to do? Please listen to what I'm about to tell you. First, understand that you are not the only one that's having problems. Many folks in the Antelope Valley are going through the same thing. What's most important right now is that you take control. Just because you've been turned down for a loan modification or received a notice of default doesn't mean you can't be in control. You own the property still. You can be in control, and I can help. I know how stressful it is. I know what it is to be in the dark on this. I've helped a lot of people in the Antelope Valley, but you have to take action. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. I want to help you. My team and I will meet with you for free, and we'll go over your options. Don't just sit back, bury your head, and lose your house to foreclosure. I can help you, but you have to call. 661-350-1006. Together, we'll draw up a roadmap to relieving the stress. Just because you're not able to make the payments on your house doesn't mean you don't have options. You do. I can and I will help you negotiate a short sale with your bank. I'll explain all the benefits and how you can rebuild your credit. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. Let's solve your problems together today.
To a single ember from a wildfire, the branches hanging over your roof look like big matchsticks, and the dry leaves and twigs in your gutter are perfect kindling. Some fire hazards aren't clearly marked and can impact your neighbors. Learn to spot them. Your home is better protected from wildfire when your whole community is prepared. Visit fireadapted.org for tips to get started. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
Last night I stopped over at Lancaster City Hall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm just everywhere.
Man.
I just don't quit. Anyway, stopped in there.
He doesn't share a lot of information either, though, does he?
Well, I do too.
Did you know?
I had no idea.
Go ahead.
Well, I could also say I was on my way to the cleaners and happened to be driving by City Hall, and oh wow, I better jump in there.
Looks like something's going on.
Okay.
That's funny.
That's kind of true.
Okay.
So I walked in there. Yeah, I was a little bit late. And it was. I wanted to go to two things last night. I wanted to go to the Lancaster Chambers big mixer they were having at UAV.
Oh yes.
That's at the same time that City Council is holding their meeting. How do you go to two places at once?
I don't know.
Apparently, it looked like more people went to the Lancaster Chamber.
Really?
Yeah, 400 people,
because
I heard.
There couldn't have been 24 people in the audience at City Hall. Okay, there wasn't many.
Well, they have a culinary school at the other place, so the food's got to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
there's nothing. There's a vending machine in the City Hall office.
I don't even think there was that.
Oh.
They unfortunately, after I was there for 10 or 15 minutes, they went to closed session to talk about litigation with Palmdale, to talk about other litigation matters. I guess there's 3 or 4 major litigation issues that they have to talk about in closed session. One thing I found interesting though, if you've been to the City Council meetings, you're standing at the podium. Okay, and then you face where the mayor and council members are all sitting, right? Kind of on their little elevated area. And you used to be able to, before certain things got started, you could even approach them. Okay, that's now roped off.
Yeah.
Okay, so that now it's roped off, and if you look at the picture that I posted, you'll see how it's you can't even approach them anymore. And one speaker actually, said, I like your roped off area. You're even less accessible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do they feel there's some sort of threat? There's always a ton
you-
of sheriff's
there's-
deputies.
You
You
never
know what?
know, though. You never know. Because you do hear about stories across the nation that people go into city hall meetings and just lose it. So
Yeah.
you do. But on the flip side, my memory is just shot. But I saw something on CNN the other day, and they were talking about. Actually, they were criticizing that the schools don't have enough money for the children, but yet the superintendent was able to get a raise, and the response was, "Well, we announced his eligibility for the raise at a city hall meeting, and there was no objections." And I took offense to that only because, when you go in there, it's like being in a courtroom. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And even if you do have something on your mind, you're very exposed. You're going up there almost like you're testifying to save your life. You know what I mean? So it isn't a very round table kind of feeling that you're in a community and you can go sit down at the round table and discuss issues.
Right.
You don't feel like that there.
No.
It feels like you better come up here on the right side of stuff because. I'm watching you. And, I mean, you're on this thing. You're above us.
Yeah.
In
on
a
dais.
position of judgment. And I don't know if you realize it, but that's the impression that
It
people
does. It
would
feels
get.
like you're approaching Mount Olympus.
Well,
and Zeus is up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A whole lot of Zeuses is.
and part of what I wanted to do is just when they, were going to close session, I walked out of the little media box in the back, and I really wanted to go up and try to get some one-on-one with Marvin Crest. Not only is he running a campaign, but he's also vice mayor, and he's indicated he wants to come on the show.
Right.
So I thought I'll go up there and see if we can work out a day or something. But I can't even approach.
You couldn't get past the rope.
I can't, and with two deputies back at the door.
Oh yeah.
I'm not stepping over that.
No.
Not at all.
Well, you
I was
could've.
a little impressed with Marvin Chris the other day, just on a personal note.
Too.
I was out there at the call. I was out there at the car. I was talking to Angie, and the stray dog came up, and I was out there petting the dog, and everybody peeled off from the other shows, and they came out, and Marvin came out there, and we both scratched on the dog, and
A little pit?
it was yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
but it
mind.
was a human
baby
side that
Oh.
He's
I
a good
haven't
guy.
seen him.
I want
He
to get
was
him
a
on the
nice
show.
guy. I talked to him at the gate, and he was chatty, and it was really nice. I'd love to talk to him. Love to talk to all of them. I mean, I live in that town.
yeah.
Are you
And
confusing him with Mark?
I
Oblivion?
am. I am.
Okay,
Oh, it was
but we're
Marvin,
not.
Marvin
so
Chris
we're
I
still
was
good.
with, yeah.
Yeah, we're still good.
You know what?
Yeah, but he came out there and
okay.
we both pet on this
I just
dog
totally.
and
It's
totally
okay, Angelina.
confused him.
It's okay. I got you fixed up. Okay. It's all good. Bobby Brown?
Oh.
What?
What?
Why would you say
Did you
something
just
like
pull
that?
a Bobby Brown?
No, not at all.
You did. Yep.
No.
Well, yeah, and if he is listening, and I know Mark listens to the show,
Mark is like, I never
I want
talked
to
to
get
her.
anybody that I can get on the show. We all do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've been going back and forth with Marvin's assistant, but I don't know why we just can't seem to put something together. But
We're really
I'd like
nice
to.
over here.
Yeah, we're not mean. We don't beat up anybody.
Yeah, and in a couple of days or maybe a week or two, we'll be in our new larger studio.
Oh yes.
But that's no reason to postpone anything. You can come into the smaller studio, and we'll have you back on
Yeah.
in the larger studio.
We're in a confined space, but we all wear antiperspirant, so it's not.
Oh, wow.
There's no foul. I mean, it's not like a locker room.
Wow.
There
The
it
smell good plumber,
There it is.
right?
No pocket donut.
Yeah, and also coming up, in a week or two or so, we are going to be on 2 hours a day.
Yes.
So you'll get to listen to our banter for 2 hours a day from 7 to 9 a.m. 5 days a week.
Woo.
Yes.
Okay, which is nice. Larger studio, more microphones, more accommodating, more time to sit down with guests and really explore the issues.
More of my ability to reason with you people.
You're not the voice of reason anymore.
I haven't heard
No,
that
because
in a while.
you've taken
I haven't heard that in a
position
long
on.
time.
You've taken position. Somebody asked me yesterday, by the way. They said, you've mentioned that you're not allowed on the show to really endorse a particular candidate. But one thing that we figured out, all of us listeners that are intelligent, is from what you say, you may not be endorsing one, but you're canceling out others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whoever's left standing,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah. So
But
you better come on.
But they're also saying, but you're not all united in the same thing.
No.
No.
So
See, that's
people-
the thing.
They're figuring this out.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
People are figuring
And
this
I
thing
think
out.
they're figuring out the way you approach the negatives with the
way I word my
oh,
sentences?
Yeah, you're so full of it.
Somebody asked me. They also asked me yesterday, and it was coming out of the city council meeting. I noticed on Facebook that Steve Knight for Congress, you liked his page, and Lee Rogers, you liked his page, and Tony Strickland. And why are you liking them all? I said, well, how do I get all the information
Yeah.
if I'm not friends with all of them?
Right.
Yeah. No,
Well, don't you want to just like the one that you like? No,
No.
I don't want to do that.
no.
No, you gotta have.
No.
You gotta.
But if you listen
Get
to him
information from
carefully,
every source.
he's letting you know who he likes. If you listen
You do have to listen carefully.
And
You
I
do
will
have to-
call it out every once in a while because
And I may not endorse a candidate, but I will make
it's
certain that
all
the rest
about
fall.
that beginning question. Here's the thing, he'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's the thing. You know?
However that sentence is worded.
Yeah, we're not saying anything bad, but yeah.
Yeah, well, this is kind of true. Tonight at the Embassy Suites,
Yes.
Lee Rogers, who is running for Congress,
Yes.
trying to take Buck McKeon's soon-to-be vacated seat. He's having a gathering over there.
We'll be there.
So, yeah, we're going to be covering the event, so stop by and see us. Of course, Lee Rogers would like donations, but you don't have to pay to go,
Okay.
okay? He wanted me to say that, but it'd be really nice if you bring your checkbook,
There you go.
okay?
Who writes checks anymore?
People, what do you mean?
You're
People
talking
write
to
checks?
Steve.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we watched the Steve channel again last night. Got some more Archie Bunker. And
Yeah, that'd be it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that would be it.
good times that Angie's never seen.
Yeah, and I did.
Yeah, that's right.
I did like seeing Mayor Ledford and Mayor Paris
That's nice.
get together united for for one candidate. I thought that was kind of good. And it is
I'd like
interesting.
to find out why though.
Well, I just told you why.
Because
And
he
that's
pledged not to ignore us.
Okay, so go ask the other one. You don't think he's gonna say the same thing?
At the luncheon that we went to for the Lancaster Chamber, where Mayor Paris gave his State of the City address, he talked about
His family?
no, he talked about the
I'm just
Lee
kidding.
Baca, okay?
Yes. And he liked him.
Yeah, he did, but he also talked about the fact that he liked him because he supported the Antelope Valley and gave the Antelope Valley resources,
Right.
and he was very worried that the next guy coming in may not do that. And although I don't think he mentioned Jim Hellman's name,
No, he didn't. I don't think he did either.
he did indicate that there was one person that he really wanted to go, pledge his
Support
vote.
against,
Yeah.
yeah.
Full board behind.
And that's Jim Hellman, and so we should reach out and get him on the show.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll see if we can do that next week.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks for making us the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. We'll be back tomorrow.